Okay, one more time. He sings his song through me.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mary.
I am Reverend Denise Landes, and it is my honor to be here with you this morning. Whether you are here with us this morning or watching from home, we want you to know that we are sending you our love. That we know that our Unity family is truly priceless. I'm looking out. I guess I'm just going to ask, is there anyone with us for the first time today? I thought I recognized all those eyes. Just making sure. All right, a quick reminder, and I'm sure everyone knows this, that after the message today, there will be no fellowship. We will not be holding hands during the peace talk. And once the message is delivered, everything is done, you need to exit out the double doors because we don't want people congregating in here to talk. If you want to talk to your congregants, your friends, you can do so outside. All right. On Thursdays at 11, Reverend Denise will be facilitating a silent unity service. This is a way to kind of get in the divine flow of things. You get yourself grounded spiritually. It's a guided meditation, and then there's a time of silence after that. And it's going to be held in the church office. We have 2 new classes that are starting out. The first one is being facilitated by Connie Greco. Right? Yay. Okay, this class will be starting March 23rd for 6 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 3. The book they're covering is The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukov. So the book is available online, and if you know someone who has it, you can also borrow a book. But this class is being done on a love offering basis, and all of the donations go to the church. And this will also be held in the church office. Another class is being done by Reverend Paula Warren.
Raise your hand.
Yeah. All right, so this is a book study called The Game of Life and How to Play It. This book was written by one of the old-time favorites, Florence Scovel Shinn. Must read for anybody who went to become a minister. You didn't have a choice, you had to read that book. This book gives you the tools to create an amazing life. The class starts April 1st, and it meets every Thursday through the month of April. The time will be 1:30 until 3 p.m. And again, there are new and used books available, and the class is going to meet again in the church office. And I think you're going to be covering 2 chapters per class?
Yes.
All right, so when you come April 1st, you need to have the first 2 chapters ready. So these are really good classes. It's a good way to come and learn some of the unity principles that we all live by and share with other people. So it's a good way to get started. I'm writing to remind you guys that we're still looking for a permanent church home. So if you happen to be out and about in the community and you see something that you think might fit our needs or something we can grow into, please either let Reverend Denise or myself know, and we'll go take a look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, our prayer chaplain today is Jan Carnes. She's right there waving her hand. She'll be happy to pray with you in that corner after the service. Our board member today is Valerie Griffin. So if you have any questions about the board or the church, please feel free to ask her. So as a result of our annual meeting, our new trademark name, Unity Light of Grace Spiritual Center, was approved.
Yay!
Let's say that one more time. Unity Light of Grace Spiritual Center. So Reverend Denise has submitted the paperwork. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get it all done. So until we say it's done, you still need to write your checks to Unity, surprise. So if you pay my check, that's how it's going to be until the next couple of weeks. All right, now would you please join me in saying our mission statement. Together, please. Our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ. Can we say that one more time, please? Our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ. Together, I am alive with the life of Christ. One more time. Together, I am alive with the life of Christ. And join me in prayer. And we say, Father, Mother, God, living, loving presence. We are optimistic. We know that we are blessed. We have come through a year and we're still here. We're still blessed. We're still together. We know that there is nothing stronger than the Christ presence within. That we're guided by the Christ presence within. And we know that our way forward will be positive. We'll be strong. And we are strong in Christ, and we will continue on. We will support each other, our community, our country. We will continue to grow in our faith and share that faith with others. We ask this and all blessings in the name and through the power of the living Christ. And so it is. Amen. Today's daily word is free. I am free and unlimited in my mind and in my life. I am meant to soar as free as a bird. But when I'm in the midst of a challenge, hesitation or fear may leave me feeling stuck. At these times, I say to myself, I am made in the image and likeness of God. My soul is meant to soar. Affirmative thoughts and prayer open me to a higher wisdom and infinite possibilities. I love the feeling of freedom I claim in prayer. As I follow my inner guidance, I remind myself that freedom is the foundation of my life. I'm learning to respond to my life circumstances in new, productive ways, where before I felt stagnant. I do not let outer situations dictate my state of mind. Instead, I choose empowering thoughts that fill me with confidence. I now fly free with a newfound sense of freedom in every area of my life. I shall walk at liberty, for I have sought your precepts. Psalms 119:45.
There are children raised in sorrow.
Wow, James. That's a tough song to follow. You give me God bumps. I don't need to do a lesson today. You already heard it. My goodness. Well, for first of all, I just want to appreciate everybody who comes and supports our church today, because we are a small church and our church has overcome this challenging COVID-19 time. And do you know what a big blessing that is to each and every one of us? Because trust me, most of the small churches didn't make it. So we are very blessed. So, you ready for my joke, Miss Mary?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, the end of the world has happened, and all these believers are up in heaven talking to God, and God's there, and He's telling all the men who took their role of being the head of the household, stand in this line. And all the men who let women dominate you, stand in this line. I want to know who is following my rules. Well, lo and behold, the line that was filled with people or men who were dominated by women was so long you couldn't even see the end of the line. And then there was one man in the line that was the head of the household. And so God starts shaming these other men and says, "No, that's not the role you were supposed to play. You need to listen to this one guy and see how he lived life." And so he goes over to this other guy and he says, "How did you get in this line?" And he said, "My wife told me to." Today is all about freedom, as James sings. Freedom to be what we've been created to be. Freedom to fly and to live life the way we want to live life. Isn't that exciting? Don't you want to get on this train that wants to live life to the fullest every day? Free of what other people think. Free of any judgment. Free to be what we've been created to be. Free to be your authentic self. Free to be healed of your past. Isn't that amazing? That through the power, the Christ within you, you can be as free as you want to be. You can soar over the clouds. You can overcome any challenge in life, whether it be health, finances, relationships. That power of God within you can overcome every one of those things, and we can be free. So this month we've been talking about the power of transformation, which is what Easter, the whole story is all about, is transforming from that person who doesn't quite feel free from everything into a person who can soar through life. And so I know I'm doing this talk a little early in the Christmas season, but we've been talking about this power of transformation, and I haven't really given you any steps on how to do that. And Jesus gives us steps in the Easter story. So I'm going to share those steps with you today. And he says all these steps on the cross, of all places. He says 7 statements while he's on the cross. All right? This is a man who's just been through not the most fun kind of experience, and he's up on the cross still teaching us how to be free. Still showing us the way to freedom. So the very first words Jesus says on the cross is, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Now he's not asking for help for him to forgive them. He says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He's not even concerned about himself. He's concerned about all the people out there who have condemned him to die on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He's in that place of divine love. He's not looking at what they have just done to him. He's concerned about them. He's concerned about how they're going to feel once he has died. how they are going to feel when they realize they killed something that was amazingly good, or they tried to kill something, because he doesn't truly die, he transforms. So he's concerned about them. So that first step in this process of freedom, in this process of transformation, this process of letting go, is forgiveness. If we can't forgive, we don't get to go through the other steps of this process. Forgiveness is the first one. And Charles Fillmore, our founder, one of the founders of Unity, preaches that forgiveness is a sure remedy for anything going on in your life. Forgiveness. See how powerful that is. To let go and to forgive someone, for they know not what they do. They do not see you as that beautiful divine child of God. They do not see you in your authentic self. So forgive them. They're not in that same place. They're not treating you the way you should be treated because they don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I can tell you, I've probably hurt some feelings in my lifetime, and I have never done it intentionally, ever. I have never set out to just hurt somebody. And I would bet with anybody else in this world that none of us truly go out intentionally to hurt somebody. So what if forgiveness is standing in our way of transformation, or not forgiving, I should say, is standing in our way of transformation, we're paying a big price to hold on to it. You truly are. Because it's the first step in this power of transformation. It's the first step to freedom of living the way you want to live life, is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Is it really worth the cost of not getting your freedom to live life to the fullest, to not forgive someone? Think about that. So you better believe I'm working on it. I am working on it. And if I don't know how to forgive that person, I just say, God, help me. I want to forgive this person. I don't know how. Please show me the way. And little by little, when I see that person's picture, I'm not wanting to kill them anymore. Wow, they're not so bad. But it's a process. It's a process. You can't expect it to work like this overnight. It's a process. And you see that picture and you're not wanting to black it out with ink or something, you know? So you just take it day by day. And each day I say, I'm willing to forgive this person, God. Please help me. Because as Jesus says on the cross, Father, forgive them. So this is something that can't be done on a human level. This is something we have to do spiritually. We have to get that Christ power within us involved in this forgiving process. And it will just happen. And it normally involves tears of some kind. You'll see something on TV, you'll read something, something will happen, and these tears will come and you don't really even know why you're crying. And it'll be some process of forgiveness that you're going through, some process of letting go that you're going through. So don't beat yourself up when you're crying, because crying is a release of the past. Crying is a forgiveness process. So don't beat yourself up. If you're standing in the middle of the room and you just start crying. I have done this. When I was in Hawaii, with my dance group, my husband at the time wouldn't go to Hawaii with me. And I took that very personally, that he wouldn't go to this beautiful place with me. And so when I was in a restaurant, what was it, the Hard Rock Cafe, with 10 other people at a table, I'm crying. I said, God, no, I can't do this right now. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And of course, the people around me were wondering what's going on. And I said, well, I'm dealing with something. I don't know exactly what, but I have to deal with it now. And I did. And eventually, I got the understanding that this had to do with my ex-husband and not wanting to come to me with me to Hawaii, and my need to forgive. I need to forgive him for not wanting to do that with me, for not wanting to experience that with me. He didn't try to hurt me intentionally. For some reason, he didn't want to go to Hawaii. And I should have took that as being okay, but I didn't. I took it personally and said, well, he doesn't love me because he doesn't want to go to this most beautiful place in the world and spend time with me. That's where I went. Now you see, I was willing to forgive my ex-husband. I would have never wanted it to all happen in Hawaii with a table full of people, right? But it happened. And when it happened, I was done with it. And I was free of it. And someone was there and said, your ex-husband would want you to be happy, not at this place of sadness. And he was right. I said, no, he would not want me to be unhappy. He would want me to be joyful. And so I overcame that one little thing that I was having so much problem of forgiving happened because I was willing to forgive. And it happened in a place where I didn't really want it to happen. But it was okay. Everyone understood. I got lots of hugs. If this would have happened when I was by myself, I wouldn't have got a bunch of hugs afterwards. Those wouldn't have been there. So it was a divine thing that I was willing to forgive, and it happened in a time where I wasn't expecting it. But that's okay, because that's how it works. So forgiveness, we don't want forgiveness or unforgiveness standing in our way of being able to be free and soaring and living the potential that we have in life. We would never want that to stand in our way. So like I said, just be willing. God, I am willing to forgive this person. I don't know how, but show me the way. It's the number one step. If we can't get by it, we don't get to go through the rest of the steps. So it's very important. The second thing he says up on the cross, he's up there with two other men, right? He has a thief on each side of him. And one of the thieves is saying to him, well, if you're really the king of the Jews, you can get yourself down from here. And then the other one is saying, uh-oh, if you're going to the kingdom of heaven, please remember me. Well, that first thief metaphysically represents the thief of the past. And the other thief metaphysically represents the thief of the future. So when we're living in the past, or if we're living in the future, we are robbing ourselves of the now. And that's exactly what he says to these thieves. Today thou shalt be with me in paradise. Today. Not when we get down off this cross, not any other time. Today, right now, in this moment, you will be with me in paradise. Telling us that we have to live in the now. We have to live in the moment. If we're living in the future, we're robbing our energy because we're in a place of fear normally when we're worried about the future, right? If we're living in the past, we're not moving forward. We're just living that same tape over and over and over. So if you want this transformation process, you have to live in the now. The now is the only place it's going to happen. Right now, each and every one of us is in the kingdom of heaven. Right now, in this moment. We're as close to God as we can ever get in this moment. But do you live that way? Do you feel that way? Do you choose to act that way is the question. So he tells you, you can't live in the past. You can't live in the future. You have to be living in the now, being grateful for what you have now, knowing your oneness with God now. Even though you're going through a challenge, God is right there with you every step of the way, and we can be rejoicing in that truth, that God is my strength. God is with me right here and now. God is not in the past. God is not in the future. God is with me now. And I celebrate that oneness now, just like Jesus says. Today thou shalt be with me in paradise. They're both thieves. Most of us would think they're not going to heaven, right? We say, no, they're thieves. They've done bad stuff. No, Jesus is saying, today, both of you are here with me in paradise. Today. Right? So we have to live in the moment. That's the second process. The second step is to be in the moment, knowing that God is there all the time. The third thing he says on the cross is, woman, behold thy son, and son, behold thy mother. Now he's talking to Mary and John. John is the only disciple that makes it to the crucifixion, and John represents love, so it makes a lot of sense that John is the one that's there. Mary, metaphysically, also represents love. So you have both sides of the love there, the female and the male aspects of love are together. They're together. And in that beautiful state of love, Jesus is concerned about his mother. And he tells his mother that John will take care of him and his mom will take care of John. And that's how beautifully life works. When we stay in that place of love, Jesus is not worried about himself hanging up on the cross. He's concerned about his mother and John. And he's staying in that place of love, and he finds an answer. John will take care of my mother will take care of John. So look what happens when we stay in the now, and we stay in that place of love, and our thinking and our feeling are together in that place of love, then everything else falls into place. You don't have to make it happen. It just falls into place. Just like Jesus finds somebody to take care of his mother, John has somebody to take care of him. They're both representative of that love. So, okay, our first step is to do the forgiveness work. Our second step is to be in the moment. Our third step is to stay in that place of love, no matter what's going on in your life. Because love heals all things. Love overcomes all things. Right? That's what it says in the Bible. Love overcomes all things. So instead of getting into a place of fear, a place of anxiety, a place of doubt, a place of anger, when there's a challenge going on, if you can stay in that place of pure love, everything else will fall into place. Everything that needs to happen will happen if we stay in that place of love. Now the next thing he says on the cross, which really seems to bother a lot of people, it does. He says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me? Now this is Jesus on the cross, that person who has known his oneness with God. Do you really think he's questioning it right now? Maybe he could be. I've been in that same place when I'm going through a challenge. But that's not where he is. That statement, my God, why hast thou forsaken me, is the first line in the 22nd Psalm. He is repeating a prayer. A prayer that starts out facing a challenge and ends up in victory. Kind of just like we say the Lord's Prayer in a challenging time. We too could start with a statement of the Lord's Prayer. It is a time of prayer. Jesus is trying to connect to that place of peace that is within him through prayer. You can look up 22nd Psalms. It's exactly how it starts. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? And it ends in victory. So that fourth step is coming into a place of peace and prayer, making that final connection to your oneness with God, letting go of feeling abandoned and reconnecting fully to that power and presence that is within you. That's exactly what he's doing. He's spending time in prayer and meditation. And then after that, the next statement he says is, I thirst. I thirst. Now, Jesus has been treated awful this whole time. So I can't imagine him saying that, believing that somebody was going to give him something to quench his thirst. I mean, I wouldn't have believed that after I've been treated and put up on a cross, that somebody is going to be kind to me and give me something to drink, even though a soldier does give him some vinegar. So why is he saying, I thirst? Why would we want to say, I thirst? Because we are thirsting for more of God. We are thirsty for more of the truth. We are thirsty for that beautiful love and upliftment of the God that is within us. We're thirsty for that. We want it. When I started in truth, I was having a lot of challenges in my life. And I went and started taking classes at Unity of Phoenix. And the first class touched my heart so much, I wanted another one, and another one, and then another one. And lo and behold, I was done with their personal development program before I knew it. Because that little bit of truth that I got in that first class, I just wanted to know more and more and more. And I could see how it was helping me. I could see how I was overcoming things. I could see how it was working in my life. And yes, I wanted more. I thirst for the truth. I thirst for that oneness with God. And that's what he's saying. I'm in this place of peace, and I thirst to feel that total, complete oneness with God. I thirst to feel with no separation a total oneness with God. That's what he's saying. I thirst. I'm asking for more. I want to know what it feels like to feel that total and complete oneness with God. And that's what he's saying. And that's what we do, or at least that's what I do. You get little glimpses of truth, little aha moments, and you want to know more. You want to know more. You want to feel that oneness with God. Sometimes I have that experience in meditation, and I don't get it all the time. But it keeps me wanting to know God more. It makes me want to be that freedom, that person who can walk through life and overcome everything, that person who has the ability to just be who they are and express the love that they are and not worry about anything. So that's where Jesus is. And then the next words he says is, it is finished. Now a lot of people, ministers, churches, believes that he's saying his ministry is finished. But that's not what he's saying. We know that's not even the truth. We're still talking about Jesus 2,000 years after this happened. His ministry was not over by a long shot. So what does it is finished mean? He knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that he has let go of everything that has separated him from God in any way. This is the transformation process, letting go. He knows his work is done. He's completed it. There's nothing standing in his way of total, complete oneness with God. He knows that. You know that you know that you know. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but sometimes when you get guidance from God, it's just a knowing. And you know that you know that you know something is finished. You know that you should do a certain activity. You just know. Maybe you're praying for a healing and it hasn't quite shown up yet, but you know it's coming. It is finished. And you can do that when you're in prayer. Prayer brings us peace because in that prayer moment, we know the answer is coming. We know the answer is there. We know within our hearts and with our minds that God has taken care of whatever issue we're worried about. It's a knowing. It is finished. It is finished. And that's where he is. He knows. He's done everything he can possibly give up, forgive. There's no more distance between him and God. And then he finally says his last words. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. Total surrender. Total surrender. He's not holding back anymore. He's not afraid. He's not in a place of worry. He's not got any of those negative emotions inside of him, even though he's up on a cross. He is surrendering, and that's the hardest part for us. We're good at sometimes forgiving. We can live in the now. We're good at wanting more of God in our lives. But then we like to keep in control of what's happening, right? That surrendering part is really hard. But that's what he does. I surrender. I commend my spirit to God. I surrender. I let God work through me this miracle of transformation. I surrender. There is no more ego involved. It's total and complete oneness with God. I surrender. And I know with World War I and World War II, that word surrender doesn't always come out so easily. But it's something that we need to do. And we don't have to wait till things get so chaotic that we know we can't do anything about it. That's what happens to me sometimes. Things get so crazy, I just say, okay, God, you do it. I can't do this anymore. You take it over. And guess what? That's when it all starts working. When I surrender, and it all works. I know recently I had a pain in my shoulder. I don't talk about pains in my body because I don't want to claim them. So I don't normally tell anybody I have a pain in my shoulder. But I went and I worked out anyway. And yes, it hurt when I was doing these exercises, but I did them anyway. I was surrendering to the guidance that I got. I never had guidance to go to the doctor, but I was supposed to go to the gym. And yes, it hurt when I was doing this. I said, God, I don't think this is really working. But lo and behold, week after week, that pain went away little by little. And now I have no pain right there. But I had to surrender to the guidance that I was given. I had to surrender to do something even though it was painful at the time to do it. I did it. And look at the result I got. It just fell into place. The pain went away little by little, and it's gone. It is finished. So we have these 7 steps. First one, forgiveness. Second one, to live in the now. Third one, to be that loving presence that you are no matter what's going on in your world, because it is love that heals all things, love that transforms all things and answers all things. Fourth, he goes into a place of prayer and meditation. So you find that peaceful place within yourself. You find that peaceful place. Then you know, you receive that knowing that it is done. It is finished. There's nothing you can do to mess it up. It's done. It is done. And then you surrender. You surrender. You say, God, you got this. Do your magic through me. I allow your divine energy to work in and through me to create this beautiful experience of freedom, this beautiful experience of transformation, this beautiful experience of letting go. Letting go and let God be God in you. Let God use His love to heal your body. Let God give you the guidance, the wisdom, the inspiration to fulfill your heart's desires. Let God do His job. And that seems to be the hardest part sometimes. Because we think we're in charge and we can figure it out and we can do it on our own, right? Well, this is the time of transformation. It is the time of Easter. It is a time of celebration, of letting go of our old ways, old habits, old ideas, and stepping into that light of grace, stepping into that true divine creature that you are, that you already are. All you have to do is let go of all the layers, all the stuff. And when you get to the center, you realize who you are. Then you know you're free. Then you know you can accomplish your dreams. Then you know you can be healed. Then you know the power and presence of God. And then you know what it's like to live on earth, to live in heaven on earth. And that's what we're truly looking for. That's what we're truly wanting to experience. Where Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Not tomorrow, not 10 years from now, not after we die. Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is at hand and it is within you. So it's worth all this effort to forgive. It's worth all this effort to be in the now. It's worth all this effort to surrender. So we can all experience heaven on earth. So are you willing to go on this journey with me? You're willing to work on forgiveness. You're willing to be in the now. You're willing to surrender. So we can all create a wonderful world called heaven on earth. It will be an amazing year for all of us. So let's take this time, for prayer and meditation. Let's close our eyes. And just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and open your mind and your heart to the power and presence of God that is within you. Take a deep breath and just let go. If there's any places of unforgiveness in your heart, any places of lack or limitation right now, we just lovingly surrender it over to God. And say, God, these things no longer serve me anymore. I hand them over to you. I lovingly let them go. And now I can feel even more God's power, God's presence, God's love surrounding and enfolding me, healing me, giving me the guidance that I need, giving me the answers, showing me the way. For I'm truly on this planet to be free, to be all that God has created me to be. And the truth is, I am the light. So let's take this moment and feel that divine energy, feel that light, that love, that joy, that beauty, that energy that you are. Just feel it in every cell of your body. This amazing light, healing light of God. And we just surrender to it. We just see ourselves totally enfolded in this beautiful, loving energy of light and grace. And we say, yes, God. Yes, I am the light. I am the love. I am the joy. I am the beauty. I am all that you are. So I take this time to feel the freedom in knowing the truth, the freedom that allows me to soar over problems, the freedom that allows me to be my authentic self. I say, yes, God, I am the light. I am the light, and I choose to create heaven on earth. So I let go of my past. I let go of any unforgiveness. And I choose to live in this moment knowing that I am the light. And I let my light shine to the glory of God always. So we take this new feeling of freedom, this new feeling of being that divine spark of God into the silence. Now allow yourself to be aware of your surroundings and wrap all that light under the soles of your feet so you're grounded. And open your eyes whenever you're ready. And always remember who you are. Remember that oneness with God. Remember how truly powerful you are as the light of the world. Amen.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Grace that taught my heart to sing, grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear.
again.